Jed Shepherd, welcome to Starburst magazine. Welcome back, I should say.
Yeah, good to see you again, James. Thanks for interviewing me again.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my pleasure. So last time we spoke, it was about, I wouldn't just say the biggest horror movie of 2020. I'd say the biggest horror movie of the century so far. And that was, of course,
Wow.
Host. You
Let
know,
me just work that out. Yeah,
20
Blair
years.
Witch was in the 90s. Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe the most talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is such a timepiece. You know, if you were to pick a horror film to put in a time capsule to encapsulate the last 18 months of our
Yeah.
existence on this planet, Host would be the perfect film to put in there for if our species lasts another 100 years or so. We'll have to see.
It's touch and go at the moment, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it was again massive congratulations on your success with the film. It's so great to see. And actually,
Whoa, what are you doing?
I am one of the people who purchased this
Oh, the
amazing
Blu-ray, yeah.
collector's edition. Yes.
I don't even have a Blu-ray player, so I
Do you
buy
not?
Blu-rays and I never watch them. No, I don't have a Blu-ray player.
Oh wow.
I
So
have
you've got a copy of this, just like, and you haven't been able to see it in all of its glory.
Yeah, I've got 12 VCRs and I don't have a Blu-ray player, even though Blu-ray players are like 40 quid now. I just can't bring myself to do it. I feel like I'm being a traitor to my VCR kind of aesthetic.
To be fair, yeah, there's nothing quite like that nostalgic feel of winding back a VCR and the grainy texture, and you watch a VCR so many times that it starts to get a bit warped, and
Exactly, yeah.
those were the days.
Yes.
But how has the last 12 months of your life been? It's been such a whirlwind for you, I guess.
Well, it's been 8 months since Host came out, so not even 12 months yet.
12 months since the idea. I did see it was the anniversary the other day.
Yeah, 12 months since I text Rob Zoom seance. It's been crazy, to be honest. Like, obviously me and Rob have been trying to kind of like make stuff for a long time now, for like 6, 7, 8 years, and we'd only done shorts up until Host, and I think we both knew if we ever got the chance to make features, then we would put that same amount of like love and passion for the genre into that project, and that's what we did with Host. And I'm just really happy that I got to do it with all my friends, and because that's what's made it really special. Like, I know it's been, everyone loves it, and it's 100% still on Rotten Tomatoes, but the main thing that I love is that, like, did it with my friends. That's just the coolest thing ever. And it's yeah, I still can't believe it. Like, I still wake up every day and think, holy moly, like, did we just make that? Like, and I don't think I'll realize its impact until like the dust has settled a little bit, and that won't happen for a number of years. And I can look back and go, oh wow, we really achieved something then. But at the moment, I'm still in the midst of it, so it's hard to kind of comprehend what's going on.
Yeah, it will be quite a while until that initial buzz dies down in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head with you did it with your friends, and I think that is what that definitely came across in the ladies' performances, and it felt very raw and very real, and obviously this sprinkling of the supernatural, which was absolutely fantastic. But the fact that you were able to do something like that with your friends, it's kind of the way I see independent filmmaking. Is it's less of a job and more of a hobby you get paid for, and you get to make and create all these things with people that you love and people that you want to spend time with. And I think that's really special, because I think a lot of the time you could get into a situation where it feels like a bit of a grind, but at least with all the blood, sweat, and tears you're putting into this, it's the rewards are like greatly outweigh the negatives, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of doing it with your friends, you're doing it again, as we're here today to talk about Ghosts. So for those of our viewers who haven't heard of this latest project, if they haven't, where have they been living? But could you sort of give us a brief synopsis of the basic story, and then we'll go into exactly what it is and kind of
Yeah.
how you're doing it.
So Ghosts is a real-time live-action horror video game starring the 5 main cast members from Host, the 5 ladies. And the conceit is you are playing as the producer of a live TV show, and at 10 p.m. the game starts, and you can't go to the toilet, you can't go get a drink unless you're really mega quick, because you have a TV show to run, and this TV show is a ghost hunting reality TV show type thing. This particular episode is live and is set inside a house that is rumored to be haunted. And also there is the urban legend of the long lady on the street as well, that terrifies everyone who has seen her and heard about her for decades.
That sounds amazing. Like just that as a hook is absolutely fantastic. I've seen some of the images that you've been posting. Very, very creepy. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the whole idea of urban legends. That's something that I've wanted to delve into, especially with foreign ones. So Japanese, in particular, Asian urban legends is
Yeah.
something that really appeals to me. So that side of things, you know, was enough of a hook, and let alone you writing and directing it, and all the ladies from Host being in it. That's just an added bonus. You know, there's added extra layers of the cake. So I know a lot of these details are on your Kickstarter page, but you know, to get the answers actually from you, what made you want to do a live action horror game?
So in lockdown, besides making Host, we just had a lot of time to watch movies and play video games. And it was me rediscovering all of the full motion video games from the 90s, that limited run release. They re-released a whole bunch of them. And so I was playing Night Trap, I was playing Double Switch and Phantasmagoria and Seventh Guest and things like that.
That's one of my faves, Seventh Guest. I remember playing that.
Guest. Yeah. And I think it was on Halloween, the day of Halloween. I know this sounds very dramatic, but on Halloween, we had a screening of Host at the Genesis Cinema in East London, and all the girls were there, and I was there. And I just thought, wouldn't it be good if like we could do a full motion video game, but with like my friends? And that just idea just never left me. And then it was only a couple of days later that the video game company Visible Games got in touch and said, "Hey, we make horror games. Here are some of the ones we've done before. Would like to collab at some point." And I was like, "Let's collab now, right now. I've got an idea." So I got them on
Hot
Zoom.
and fresh.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is my idea. This is my idea, a live action real time video game." And they were like, "Nobody's done a real time game like this before," and that's exactly what I'm excited about. That's the exciting thing. And yeah, that's kind of where it started from. So I hooked up with a video game company who can make the game, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome. It reminds me, like, obviously inspiration from the likes of Night Trap and Seventh Guest, but also we talked, when we talked about Host, we mentioned the influences of Ghostwatch. It's kind of like a live action Ghostwatch in a way, because I recently I recently only watched that for the very first time. Incredible piece of horror history, really. You know, a masterpiece of its time. And
Ghostwatch is definitely it's always an influence to me, Ghostwatch.
Yeah.
But it's more the works of Nigel Neal, he's from Isle of Man, the Manx writer Nigel Neal, and all of the stuff that he did to bring horror to primetime television, Quatermass and the Stone Tape and Beasts and stuff like that. That's more of the vibe of Ghosts, I would say, like a classic English folk horror.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so it all sounds incredible, and you've got the Kickstarter campaign, which is live
Yeah,
as of recording this. You've got about 9 days or so left, so we will get
nice.
this up as soon as possible.
Okay.
So for those watching right now, uh, check out the link. It's going to be in the description. Go and support it. There's loads of different tier lists, and loads of goodies you can get.
Lots of swag. Yeah.
Yeah, swag out the wazoo. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much to choose from, and I love the thing with Kickstarter. It's a great platform. I've used it personally before, um, and one of the most important things, and what something that you absolutely nailed, was a really intriguing and gripping campaign video. So
Mhm.
how was the campaign video to shoot? How much fun was that to do?
You are the only person who's asked me that specific question. I've had
Yeah.
loads of interviews. That's interesting. So I just wanted to have a flashy way to explain what's going on, just because people were going to think, why? How is Jed making a game? Why is he making a game? So I needed someone to kind of like do an explainer video. So I thought, instead of it just me looking at the camera and saying, "Hey, I'm Jed. This is what I do. Blah blah blah, and this is my plan," I thought I'm going to get all the girls involved, and then I'll give them a little taste of what's to come as well. And what you see in the video is, because in Host, the kind of like aerial stunts and things like that, the dangerous stunts were obviously
Mm.
done by stunt people. In this video, in the announcement video, Emma did it. Emma did it. So Emma was the stunt person. So just to give you a little taste of what's to come, like, we're getting a bit braver, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was so fun to do, because it was the first time we'd all seen each other for a long time as well.
I bet. Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. We all had to have tests beforehand. There was like a COVID officer on site the entire time. We shot it in a cinema, in the Genesis cinema, because
Thought I
that was the
recognized it.
that was the genesis of the idea, and it's
Yeah,
Genesis cinema. So that's why I did
love
it
it.
there. But also we've hid clues in the announcement video as well. There's various different clues to what exactly is going on in the game, and people have gone frame by frame and found a few things, but I've not confirmed or denied if they're true or not.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it was so much fun. It was just so much fun just working with like the whole team again, like, and that goes for like the crew as well,
Mm.
costumes, stunts, VFX, etc. So
I'm definitely going to go back and do what those people have done frame by frame. And that's another thing
yeah,
I loved when just after Host came out, the amount of people that were scouring the entire film, and you on social media like confirming like, oh, you found X number, but there's still, you know,
yeah.
90% left to find. And yeah, that sort of stuff is really, really cool.
Oh, this
I love
is
Isu. Yeah.
I've outdone myself here. Like, the adventure that surrounds this game is going to be,
Mm.
there's so much cool stuff to announce. Like, I'm every day I'm thinking, shall I announce? No, I'll save it. I'll save it, because we've got a long time until the game comes out. So, well, relatively long.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm saving stuff.
is it February? It's February next year, isn't it?
We're aiming for February
Aiming for
next year.
February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There could be a couple of things that will change that for the better.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like we'll see. There are wheels turning.
Mm,
But yeah, exciting stuff.
fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the Long Lady, more specifically the incredibly talented uh, artist that you have on board,
Yeah.
Trevor Henderson. Um, Incredible stuff that he's done before.
Yeah.
I think people who might not have heard of his name that are watching this have probably heard of the likes of Siren Head,
Yeah.
one of my personal favorites. So let's talk a little bit about how you got the likes of Trevor on board, and yeah, we can see over your left shoulder Graham Humphreys doing the artwork for the game. There you go, and you've got Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Just incredible, big names involved. How was that in terms of logistics, getting them involved? Like, did they approach you or did you approach them? And as a fan of their work, how much of a buzz was that for you?
Well, with host, obviously there are a lot of people involved with host making decisions. With ghosts, I am making every single decision, so there's no one to veto me. So I just thought, okay,
Always nice.
let's make a list of just what would the coolest possible A team look like. So I just wrote down my dream team of people who would be involved in this, and I just managed to get every single one. Limited Run Games, the biggest independent games distributor. Trevor Henderson is like, I'm such a massive fan. I'm such a massive fan of what he did with Siren Head, because he took a creature and made him an urban legend. He made Siren Head an urban legend, and I just love how people of all ages know who Siren Head is. So we were mutual fans of each other, and I just said, Trevor, here's my idea, and he's like, son of a bitch, I'm in. And and yeah, so we've been working together on The Long Lady, and he is one of 3 people who know the true story behind The Long Lady. And because I'm keeping it from everybody else, because it's going to be an exciting journey for people to discover. And yeah, so I told him kind of roughly what I wanted, her backstory, her powers, what she can do, what she can't do, and then he created her. And I'm very influenced, like yourself, by Asian mythology, being Asian myself, but also English folk horror, very much influenced by things like Penda's Fen, and like plays for all those kind of like made for TV movies, and from the 70s, from the 60s and the 70s. Absolutely love that, digest that all the time. So so that's kind of how The Long Lady was kind of came about. But then I needed someone to actually make the thing, and I thought, okay, like I could go to a normal place that makes creatures for horror movies, or being the biggest Henson fan and the biggest Labyrinth fan on earth, no joke. If you look at my Twitter, every other day I'm posting something about Labyrinth. And I've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
I went to Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and they were surprisingly into it straight away, and they're just the loveliest people, and they really were just excited by the idea. And yeah, and hopefully this is going to be the start of many adventures I have with Henson. But for now, I'm just excited to see the I haven't actually got the Long Lady in my hands at the moment, so it's being sent as we speak. So I can't wait. I just cannot wait.
That's so exciting. I love it.
Because they're the best.
Absolutely. So it is, I think we can both agree that, especially over the last few years, sort of FMV games have made sort of a resurgence, sort of a reconnaissance in a lot of ways. Places
there've
like
been a few. There've been a few out. I wouldn't say. I would still say it's the very vast minority that.
Oh yeah, it's still a very very niche sort of market, but
unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, because it's such a cool medium, because you watch movies and you think, oh well, I wouldn't make that decision, and then but these kind of adventures allow you to make those decisions and obviously deal with the consequences, because most of the time people choose poorly, and it results in death. But yeah, so the 80s and 90s, there were loads about, and they were very limited to the technology. And recently, places like Wales Interactive and Limited Run, they've brought these classics back, and they've made new ones. What makes this one in particular stand out is the fact that it is live, in the fact that it only works at 10 p.m. in your time zone.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from? Is that something that you wanted to do to stand out from the rest? And also, in terms of logistically, how did you sort of approach that logistically?
So my kind of like gaming hero, like a lot of people's, is Hideo Kojima.
Same.
is just the greatest.
Yeah.
And he had a game in the about 20 years ago called Boktai, The Sun Is in Your Hand, Boktai. Boktai, The Sun Is in Your Hand, where there on the back of the Game Boy cartridge there was a solar panel that you had to go outside and use the rays of the sun to kind of power your person, because you're a vampire hunter and vampires don't like sunlight, so you had to go outside and play it in the daylight. And just that kind of thinking with games, like just slightly out of the box, just always kind of stuck with me. So and with any project really, not even just this, but I kind of had that in my mind when I was thinking about this. And I also loved it when TV shows were events, where like when we used to watch Lost, every week it was an event. You'd speak about it all week, and then you'd wait till like 10 o'clock when it came on, and then you would just be transfixed. Nothing else mattered to you. This was like life and death. And then when it finishes, you're straight on the internet for theories, research, swapping ideas with people. And we've lost that a lot with streaming stuff. So I basically wanted this game to be an event. I wanted this game to feel like we're all on this in this together, and like this is a mystery that we can all solve together. And it's something that I just thought, for me, if I wasn't a gamer, it would bring me back to games, because I would just hear about this strange game that you could only play at 10 p.m. And also, as you see with Host, like authenticity is like big with me. That's like with Host, you see the authenticity there. They use their real names and their real friendships, and they use their real houses. And I wanted you to authentically feel like you were living the life of this producer, that you were there and these girls' lives were in your hand. The only way to do that is to make you feel like this is your job. So when you're in a job, you can't do anything else. You can't go and watch a TV show. You can't pause. So I wanted you to be really immersed in the game so much that you forget it's a game, and that's where the real fear can creep in.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a simple yet ingenious tool, because you know what you were saying there. It makes complete sense that it should always be like that, but obviously it isn't, and it really lends itself well to this. So in terms of crafting the story, obviously you've got the history of the Long Lady, but and you've had years of experience writing short films and everything else. How was it for you as a writer to construct this narrative that can really branch off into, I would imagine, so many different directions and so many different endings? I mean, you just talked about not only Easter eggs in the finished product, but Easter eggs in the announcement trailer. So, you know, most of these new FMV games, they have 6, 8, 10 endings. I'd imagine Ghost probably has 10,000 the way you sort of construct things. But how was that for you as a writer?
Your journey to the end is like infinite, really. The stuff you could do, it's infinite. But it was exciting. It was just because it's different. And again, I don't come from a games creation background, so I didn't know what the rules were. I was just like, right, it's going to be locked at 10. It's going to be a 10 p.m. Lock on the game where you can only play at 10 p.m. And then the games company, who do know what they're doing, are like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I am 100% sure. This is what this game is. And writing it is kind of like writing a lot of films at once. And because with a film, you have multiple ideas for each scenario, but then you obviously pick which one you think's the best, and you go with that, and so on and so on and so on. With this one, you can explore all of those. You can explore all the bad ideas and all the good ideas, and but leave it up to the player to kind of choose what happens. So it's just really exciting to me to be able to kind of do something in this medium, and I want my stories that I tell to be seen by as many people as possible. And because the games industry is so much bigger than the films industry by multiples, this was my way of telling a scary story to as many people as possible.
Oh yeah, and you mentioned, you know, if this might reintroduce people to gaming, you know, maybe people that have drifted away for various reasons, or people who have never really explored it, you know, people who loved Host have jumped on board with this,
Mhm.
and people who discover this might have not heard of Host, or might not be into horror movies, but think, sod it, I'll give it a go, and then fall in love with that. So it works both ways. And also as well, I think, yeah, as a writer myself, and I've done various things in different roles in film in particular, but this is, I think, this experience and being able to play with so many ideas and not having to worry about if it's gonna hit in a particular way, I think this might in the long run make you an even better creator in the long.
Oh
You
yeah.
see what I mean? Do you feel like that's already sort of happening with everything in pre-production on this?
It's made me think that, like, yeah, that the stories I tell don't need to just generally be in one direction. I can tell a more expansive, open story and still have it satisfying.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, I'm just really excited to see what's ahead, and for people to play this game.
So we mentioned as well that obviously all 5 of the superstars of Host are back for this. I'm this might be a silly question, but I'm pretty sure as soon as you mentioned this to all 5 of them, they were instantly like, absolutely.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think because I've put them in a whole bunch of things over the years, so
Mm.
it's one of those things where if someone else had probably asked them, they'd be like, "Oh, what?" But I
Yeah,
think there's just a level of trust,
yeah.
just because like we're good friends. Like I literally speak to these ladies every single day
Hmm.
about all types of all types of things, and they're all filmmakers in their own rights as well. They're all
Yeah.
like writing stuff, producing stuff, directing stuff. So we all exchange information and stuff. And yeah, they were very excited from the start, and they cannot wait. And they know obviously a lot more than most people, so that excitement for what they're about to do is going to be insane. And this is new ground. Like there's never been a time where someone's just come off the biggest horror film and then attempted to do a video game. Like I don't think that's happened before. So
I don't think so either. No.
yeah, so this is real new. This is real new ground, um, and I kind of feel like the first man on the moon a little bit, like because I think a lot of people will do this in the future because storytellers want to tell stories, and this is just a great way to tell stories. So I've been recommending it to all the right people I know, like get into games. Like your
Yeah.
story may reach more people than you think.
Well, yeah, as well. It's such a great time to be a gamer and a film fan because of the technology we have at our disposal. If you tried this 10 years ago, having that whole idea of it being locked at 10 p.m., you'd really be struggling to sort of instigate that idea and that
Yeah,
mechanic. And also, for those who there are so many different stories out there that people want to tell. Sometimes some stories don't particularly suit film; they do suit video games better, or vice versa. So
yeah,
there are so many up and coming creators in the various industries that it is a perfect time to get involved now, learn the trade, and if you have an idea, put it out there because
mm,
if my sort of motto has always been, if I just inspire one person, I've done my job. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that that Host and Ghost has inspired and will continue to inspire a whole generation of creators in the various mediums.
I hope so. And what I kind of want to do is like I don't want people to be able to predict what my next move is like,
Hmm.
and like no one is going to be able to predict what happens next because it's crazy. But so yeah, that's what I want to keep doing, just keep surprising people, but the whole time pushing British horror, because that if there's one thing that I'm going to get at the end of my career, I want to look back and say I did something for British horror, because we've had some lean years
Hmm.
and in the eyes of the world. So I want those closed eyes to open again and see all the great stuff we're making here. So yeah, that's my aim.
Absolutely, and that's an incredible aim. I mean, we mentioned off air that that is such an important thing to not only myself but us here at Starburst Magazine.
Yeah.
We support independent filmmakers and creators, and ultimately, because we are British, you know, British horror is at our heart, and anything we can do to support that and keep pushing that forward and breaking new boundaries is exactly what we want to do. So I suppose my last sort of question really is well, you probably can't really say anything, but
Good try.
what can we expect over the coming months? Sort of, what are you planning to do? Just sort of drop maybe nuggets of information through your socials, or maybe go like a full-blown like ARG sort of rabbit hunt through Reddit, you know, that those sort of things? Are you going to sort of drop crumbs all over the internet for this?
I have to be careful with what I say here, because
Yeah.
no joke, everything I say gets dissected. So the adventure's already started, put it that way. The adventure's already started, and
people are already playing the game in some fashion.
Yeah, the adventure started and the game is afoot, and I think people are going to be excited leading up to the game, because it feels like it's a long way away, but there's a lot to fill that space, basically. A lot of announcements to come, a lot of exciting things happening, and the people who are part of the Kickstarter will definitely be happy in the coming months. That's what I can say.
Awesome. Yeah, I myself have been. I'm going to pledge. I've just been I've been sort of looking at there's so many different rewards. It's difficult.
There's so many cool things.
Usually I can go onto a Kickstarter and just go, oh yeah, I'll drop that, or oh, that sounds cool, I'll do that. But now I'm looking at each thing, and I'm looking at each day, and I'm going, should I get this? Oh, it's so difficult to decide. There's just
it's all amazing, and like we're going to probably reveal Graham Humphrey's artwork in the next 2 or 3 days.
Just for the final push.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna, it's ridiculous. It's so good. And that's gonna be artwork all over the games and t-shirts and stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that, dude. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you all the best, all the success in the world. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds and what you do next. And I'm sure we correspond on Twitter every now and then. I'm sure closer to the time we'll probably chat again about it, maybe shortly after, once the the dust, well, not settles, but once once the game's out, we'll probably reconvene and have a chat, because I'm sure you'll get a whole, if there are some people not talking about it now, closer to release, you will get.
Oh, they will be talking about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, mentioning that, like a going from film into video games. I think it was the day you dropped the announcement trailer on social media and launched the Kickstarter. IGN picked it up and
Rolling Stone that first day.
Yeah, like, straight
Rolling
away.
Stone is doing a game. Wow. Yeah.
That's big for them, but also IGN, arguably the biggest gaming publication on the web. That's I'm sure that's helped tenfold.
Oh yeah, IGN are awesome. Yeah, and Edge magazine, I've done interviews. I don't know when that comes out, but that's soon. And Nintendo Life, just a bucket list, just tick 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 tick. It's great.
I remember reading on the Kickstarter saying you'll never look at your Nintendo Switch the same way again. There's a little short film that I saw on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was around Animal Crossing on the Switch.
Oh, that's cool. That's
I can't remember what it's called now, but
oh yeah, that's been made into a feature film. That short.
oh, that's fantastic.
Believe,
yeah,
yeah.
I loved that. That's such an interesting idea. Again, sort of blending two mediums together, because you don't expect an innocent bit of technology sitting in your bedroom or your office to potentially be your downfall. No, I love it. Honestly, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. And for people who are watching and want to support, down in the description will be the link to the Kickstarter. Go and check it out. So much swag, unlimited swag.
So much, almost too much swag.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jed, where can people follow you on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at JED SHEPHERD, JED SHEPHERD. Same on Instagram. And if you are on Clubhouse, which those of you with the iOS phone can get onto, I run the horror club on there. And on Thursdays, I do the Clubhouse of Horror, and I invite pretty much all the biggest names in horror into the room every Thursday night at midnight for us in the UK. So for example, last week it was a Jacob's Wife special, so it was the cast and crew of Jacob's Wife, Barbara Crampton, Travis Stevens, director, Bonnie Aarons, aka the Nun, Larry Fessenden, and then a whole host of other cool people came in. Gigi Saul Guerrero, Joe Lynch, the director who directed Barbara in the recent Creepshow episode, and tons more. So every week it's just a real surprise about all these big names that I get in there. And and there's some exciting news about that too, about that Clubhouse room coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I've seen sort of some tidbits on the socials, and just behind your right shoulder is if you move to your left a little bit. Speaking of the Clubhouse stuff, there's Hayley. I know there's the she's writing and directing her first short film, isn't it?
She's writing, starring, and directing in a short film as part of an anthology. That was made by my friend Sebastian, who found writers and directors on Clubhouse, in my room, in a couple of other rooms. He's given money to shoot some stuff, and that anthology is called Symphony, and that got announced last week, and that's out towards the end of the year. And
that's super exciting as well. Yeah,
and that's the power of Clubhouse, and that's the power of the people on there. You have people of all levels on there, writers, directors, studio execs, unparalleled access. And I don't work for Clubhouse, but genuinely it is the best networking tool there is right now if you work in film or TV.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I need to somehow get on that myself as well.
If you have an iPad, you can do a little trick with an iPad and a Android phone. Though in May it's going to go onto Android, I believe. So
awesome. Yeah, I might have to wait because I've only got an Android. So yeah, I'll definitely get on that, and then I can start tuning into all this cool stuff, because I'm sort of sitting outside looking in through the window going, guys, please let me in.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Awesome stuff. Right then, so we'll wrap this up, and again, check out description below for all the links to everything. And once again, Jed, thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Good seeing you, James, and I'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely, yeah. It'll be here before we know it.